Yo, welcome back. Another episode 5, I believe. It's Super Bowl week. It's officially Super Bowl week. We had the bye week last week, little off day for everybody. Now it's starting to ramp back up. And now we don't have Drake May injury to worry about, which never worried. Never. That was the most overblown thing you could have ever done. I mean, that was ridiculous. He threw the ball. Whatever. Who cares? It's over. It's done. He looked good to go, ready to roll. Everybody on the team looks good to go. Maybe Harold Landry might be questionable. I'm not too sure, but he is at I think tonight they are doing press stuff, and Harold Landry is scheduled to talk. So that could be a good sign. That could be a little boost to the defensive side. Speaking of defensive line, that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about a little bit. I'm going to be talking about a little bit of the Patriots defensive line, a little bit of the offensive line, and seeing how, thinking about just talking out loud, thinking about. I haven't really done too much looking into it. I have actually, but I didn't like the DVOA, the this, the that. You see it, but really, it comes down to it sometimes where you watch the games, you see how they play, and you can kind of see. With football, everything is schemes, and everything is how the matchup is, and any given Sunday, whatever they say. But it's going to be a lot different for both teams. I think let's start on the defensive side. I feel like everything always starts on the offensive side, but I feel like this is perfect for the defensive side because I've been clamoring about it. The Patriots defense, they haven't gotten enough love and praise. They've been as good as you could be on the defensive line. They've been stout. They stop the run. They pressure the quarterback. They just played the Broncos, who had the number one offensive line, and they made them look like average, below average. Milton Williams was just all over him, just going crazy. Barmore going crazy. And I think that is where this game is going to start. And it's between the tackles. And it's the nose tackles and the defensive tackles. And obviously not nose tackles, because I'm pretty sure a nose tackle is kind of like that Vince Wilfork. And when they just line up, head over the center, bigger boys, whatever, doesn't matter. D-line, big fellas, defensive tackles, Milton, Durden, Barmore, Tunga. These dudes are ready to play. And I don't think, I was looking at this. Now, I don't think the Seahawks have seen a defensive line, especially in the middle, like the Patriots. I don't think anybody has a defensive line like the Patriots on the inside, with the ability to stop the run, the ability to rush the passer, the ability to rotate guys in and out. They are very effective in every facet of the game, and I think it's kind of similar to how Seattle plays a little bit, where they have Leonard Williams and oh my God, I'm blanking on this guy's name. Byron. Let me see. Byron Murphy. They got Byron Murphy. They got the dudes up front that are they can play football. Now, I just don't. We're staying with the Patriots defense. I just don't think that. I don't know if the right guard, Anthony Bradford, for Seattle is going to be ready for this game. I really don't. I don't know. I've seen him. I've seen Milton and Barmore against 2 All-Pros or an All-Pro or whatever. 1 or 2 All-Pros. They made them look awful. I've seen Milton. We've all seen Milton in the big game last year against the Chiefs. Just completely destroying that interior line for the Chiefs. And that really comes to play, I feel like, in this kind of game where you need your guys to show up. And I feel like this is a really good matchup for this Patriots team because the Seahawks are going to try to run the ball. I think they're going to want to run the football. because I feel like that will be their way of opening up the game. I don't know exactly how the Patriots secondary is going to attack with Smith and Jigba. I don't know exactly how they're going, if they're going to put Gonzalez. They do a lot of motioning. They get him moving. He gets open very easily. He runs very smooth. So I don't know how they're going to attack. But I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to sim a lot of pressures. They're going to bring through the middle a lot. They're going to try to bring guys through the middle and try to push Darnold back. And I think that's going to be their main thing, is trying to get him out of his landmark in the pocket. Because if you can get him moving to the left or to the right and forcing him to throw balls down the field, and that's when you can kind of see the Patriots safeties will be able to converge on the ball and kind of bait Darnold into what they think he's going to throw, and just play over the top and allow the game to come to you, allow the defensive line to be disruptive. I mean, every game, before the game, Herbert was going to bomb the ball, and he didn't. And, it was cold, but Drake threw for 260 or something like that, 260-something, 250-something, something like that. It wasn't too bad that game, but they got disruption that game, and that's what I think that's how I think the defense is going to pressure. Obviously, none of the teams that the Patriots have played have Jackson Smith and Jigba. They don't. And there's no way you can even simulate that. There's nobody you can compare that the Patriots have played. I don't think there's anybody. Just skill-wise, you could say Drake London, but his size was really a factor in that game. So I don't know if that's going to play the same way. I can't think of any other receivers that the Patriots have really played that would affect like that. Obviously there's nobody like that. Jamar Chase, he was out when the Patriots played him, which helped the Patriots. I hate to say it, but it did. And I don't really know who else I can't think, whatever. But, they're going to try to take away the deep ball, force them to keep checking the ball down. Do not break on the double moves unless you know you got a guy over top. But you know what? Let's get out of the secondary. Let's stay with the defensive line. Okay? I think if Harold Landry's back, that might be a huge thing in like second, third down, if we can get him in a long situation, be able to rotate him and Anthony Jennings out, because Anthony's been playing great and he plays the run really well. And I think he's been a key to this Patriots defense and not allowing guys to bounce runs. He's been great. Robert Spillane, I'm not sure what his injury status is. I don't know if they release anything until Wednesday, maybe. I think Wednesday they release the next injury report, because it's a regular week. So I'm assuming we know then. I'm assuming we know Wednesday. And it's not Wednesday, it's Monday right now. So we don't know yet. But I'm hoping Spillane's back. That will be huge, because he's very good at stopping the run, and Spillane is very good at the double mug where the linebackers are up over the center. And when he drops out, the bluff blitz, and he drops out, I think he had like 3 or 4 picks this year just off of that, where he just comes off the line of scrimmage and undercuts a throw. So I think they will utilize that a lot. They're going to utilize keeping everybody on the line and having a shell over the top, and then being able to maneuver those secondary guys. I know I'm kind of getting away from the D-line, but this incorporates it. They're going to keep a shell, and they're going to bluff these blitzes up front. And I think the D-line has been working very well on stunts and blitzes and exotic pressures and being able to move around, which getting from one side of the line of scrimmage, lining up over the right guard or left guard and being able to loop all the way around. They've just been able to scheme up pressures that have been getting quarterbacks pretty much just, I mean, that one game might have screwed C.J. Stroud into another contract, allegedly. I don't think it will, but that's what, he was a good quarterback all season, decent quarterback, nothing, whatever, and then all of a sudden they play the Patriots, and for some reason they just don't want to give the Patriots any credit, give them their flowers, and just say, well, C.J. Stroud's the worst, but whatever. And, the last game against Denver, that was, and this kind of goes into, I'm going to, I think having the D-line depth, sorry, I'm all over the place, but I keep trying to talk about everything else, and I'm trying to hone it back into the line of scrimmage where the game is going to be won and lost like every other game. People are like, I haven't really watched a lot of national people talking about this game because, everything is Seattle's the greatest team they've ever seen. It's the same thing as the last bunch of weeks, and they don't even know anybody on like the Patriots team, which is just like crazy. That's their entire job, is to know about the game, and they don't. Anyway, that's just a sidebar. Sorry. Hey, that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. That's not a fact. That's just my opinion off of a couple videos. Could be wrong. Anyway, so what was I just talking? I don't remember what I was talking about. I think I was talking about. Shoot, what was I talking about? That's a great question. I was talking about the defensive line. I know that. And then I was starting to go on Durden. Was I talking? Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to be. I think I've already said it. It's going to be interesting to see how the Patriots scheme up their pressure, because I think Darnold doesn't run a lot. Darnold doesn't run. So are they going to try to get him off those landmarks and be able to, and they're going to show a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage, take them off. They're going to have guys off the line of scrimmage, late blitzes, loops in, like they've been doing all playoffs. And I think that's going to be very effective. I personally do not think that. Now, this is not a lot of people are saying this. And I'm not taking away from the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks, I've been saying it all year, I thought they were better than the Rams. I thought they were just a better all-around team. I thought they were the best team in their conference. I just thought I didn't really, I don't know. I thought the Rams were okay, but if they took away Puka, they weren't, whatever. And the Seahawks proved that, where their defense was flying around and their offensive line held up, because I don't think the Rams' D-line is that effective. I think they are very good. I think Verse is good. But I just don't think that. I don't think it's the same way. They don't affect the play the same way that we'll see the Patriots affect the play. I think they run this different type of game where I thought the Rams were falling for a lot of bait. I don't think their defensive backs were that good, and I don't think their D-line. I felt like just their D-line just wasn't playing well, especially in that last game. But I don't think they've been seeing. I don't think the Seahawks saw a bunch of teams that were good either. And I think they're a very good team, but I'm gonna go to their schedule and just think about it okay, they saw the Rams twice, who are a good team, right? The last game of the season with the Niners, 13-3. I feel like that's going to be the Niners were also getting beat up on defense. They weren't full health. That's okay. Nice analysis. But I just don't think a lot of their defensive lines that they saw. I think the Colts D line is pretty good, especially in the middle with DeForest Buckner. And Darnold still threw for 271, but it was an 18-16 game. And they almost lost to Phillip Rivers. And if Rivers had if he put like a little injection in his arm, even though his arm always looked like it was going to fall off, I think he could have won that game if he just looked okay. But then they look good again. They look good against Atlanta. They put up 37 against Atlanta, and you could sit there and box score watch and say, oh, Darnold got sacked, blah, blah, blah. But Atlanta was a good team. At the end they weren't that great, and that's when they did play them. They played them beginning of December, and they weren't that great of a team. But hey, at Atlanta, they went in there and they 37-9. And I'm not just going to go through, but Atlanta, Minnesota, they had Brock, whatever that, not Brock, whatever. They had Max Brosmer. I'll go through it after. But all I'm saying is, I don't know if they're ready for a D line. I don't know if their O line's been tested. Like this Patriots team is going to test them. I think that the Patriots are a lot more schematically sound than a lot of teams. They have a lot more pressure. They fly around. They show a bunch of exotic looks that not a lot of people think about, or not a lot of teams will do. They run the gamut on everything, on different types of blitzes, on different things, and I think that's where teams are pretty effective is being able to, or that's where I think teams are effective, or that's where I think the Seahawks were effective against other teams, is that other teams just don't have those middle guys. And I keep going back to the guys in the middle, but they are really key. Patriots don't have the edge guys. They don't have those guys on the edge. Look, I think that's going to be a great matchup, and I think it's going to be very fun to watch, and I hope the Patriots go on defense first and we get to see exactly what's going on. But what we see in the first quarter, maybe the second quarter, is going to be totally different than that second half. And I think Vrabel playing in Super Bowls is going to be able to help, and Carlton Davis playing in Super Bowls and Milton Williams playing in Super Bowls, I think that's going to help the Patriots' edge on that type of aspect, because it's a totally different game. It's not even the same game. The halftime's like 25 minutes or whatever it is. There's a lot of timeouts. The commercials last a little bit longer. The breaks are a little bit longer every time. There's going to be a lot. You're going to have to really stay locked into the game, and that's also where having two quarterbacks that have never been there, Sam Darnold, Drake May, might see some mental mistakes. You could say that it's possible. You could say Drake May would be more susceptible to that, but realistically, we haven't seen him too susceptible. We don't know. We don't know. We don't even know with Darnold. That's just all speculation. It could be nothing. But I do think that will kind of go into effect a little bit, and that's kind of also going to the offensive side of the Patriots. Is the first 2 weeks of the playoffs were rough for the offensive line. Let's be honest. It was rough. But it was also, left side rookies with Wilson and Campbell being on the left side for the first time in the playoffs. Campbell getting off an injury. Wilson had a concussion, right? So their preparation might not have been as whatever. Also, their pass rusher, the Chargers had number 6 pass rusher in Tui Tuilapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapapa great player. I wish, I mean, I didn't mean to like butcher his name like that, but that dude's good. That dude's a good football player. And Dafeowe, he's a good player. And coming off an injury, your first game's against the Jets, and you don't, or the Dolphins, and it's tough. And then you're still hurt. Your MCL's hurt, and for Will Campbell, and has to go against Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. Doesn't look great. But then plays Denver. Holds Nick Bonito to nothing. Goose egg on the entire box score. He didn't really do anything. Will looked much better. He looked much more comfortable. The Patriots had let up 5 sacks, but I think they were all pertaining to how the game was being played. I don't think none of them were like sitting back and like, oh my God, what is going on? It was more of like one Drake tried to roll out of the pocket and you didn't get the edge. You got horse collared. They didn't call it, of course. And he didn't get the edge, and that was one of the sacks. It was like kind of a coverage sack, trying to extend the play. The other ones were just other coverage sacks. It was just Drake kind of sitting in the pocket and was like, okay, I'm taking the sack. And he went down, took the sack, lived to play another play because he knew what he had on the other side. And I don't think that reflected anything on what they were doing on like the defensive line. I just think that their back end, they were playing really well, and I think it was for a reason. And I just don't think the receivers were getting open, and that's okay. That happens. Mac Hollins' first game back against a really good defense. So, yeah, I think the offensive line for the Patriots is like super talked about as if they're like the weakest offensive line in the world because they let up the last 5 sacks in the last 3 games, which is a lot of freaking sacks. That's a lot of sacks. That's not good, but also they won all 3 games. And sacks does not always equate to catastrophe. That there's sometimes where there are huge sacks that you can't take. But for the most part, a sack's not the worst play. Sometimes you just live to play another down. You lose 2 yards, you lose 3 yards, 4 yards, whatever, and you live and you play another down, and you just take the sack and you punt it, or you just move on to the next play. And I think that's what they did really well against Denver, and they knew that Denver wasn't gonna be moving that well, but they also didn't. Here's the issue: is I think the Broncos kind of knew what the Patriots were doing. I think they kind of knew like the Patriots were just running the football, and I think Denver stacked the box and just forced them to kind of throw it, and they weren't successful at it, and ended up being lucky and getting, they didn't have to go on the long drive, which they did go on the long drive in the third quarter, and they only got 3, but they went down the field and pretty much sealed the game there. But here's the huge part of this game is Seattle plays a lot of too high. I know you might have heard that a lot. You might have heard that. They play a lot of too high. But they are also like top 3 run defenses in the NFL. But Drake May is also one of the best quarterbacks against too high. And if you're going to play too high and you're going to bring blitzes from there and you're going to allow the underneath to Ramondre Stevenson and hopefully Travion gets going. I think he was struggling a lot in pass protection, this, that, and the other. And I hope he gets going for him and for the Patriots, but nothing against Ramondre. I love Ramondre. I think he's been unbelievable. And I think also a huge factor in this game is Drake May loves to split the safeties. He loves to throw that ball over the top, kind of in that Tampa 2 hole shot, right over that Tampa 2 guy in between the safeties. He likes to hold it off and throw that little bing, or he likes to either work that 2, or if they're in 4 and he sits or he kind of splits, he likes to throw that right in that little gap. So that's going to be interesting to see how he attacks this too high look, because the Chargers ran a lot of too high, and the second half was 11 for 14, and he figured it out. And that's the thing about Drake, is he figures it out. And I think the first half is going to be Josh McDaniels kind of protecting Drake May. I think Josh McDaniels is going to say, hey, look, our defense is really good. And I think Josh is going to try to get this run game going, maybe try to run the draw play a couple of times again, play action. He's going to really try to get Drake outside of the pocket, I think. I think he's going to try to get the run game going early, try to get Drake moving, try to get him to beat the edge rusher around the corner, and throw a lot of those passes that are on the move, because I think that will be vital. And I think having this O-line that is feeling a lot better, and it's going to be interesting to see the chess match of when the Patriots bring on, staying in the trenches, when they bring on Mumford, staying that huge personnel, those big boys, that extra tight end, but it's a tackle, Mumford. How are the Seahawks going to play that? Are they going to stay in that too high? Because if they do, it might be a long day for them. And then when they rotate down, we saw it against the Chargers. Play action, sail route, which is that little out corner, matters how they're playing it, that little out route, and hits Hunter Henry. That might be a play. That might be a touchdown play outside the red zone in that gray area, in that like 25, 30 yard, in that little spot there. They might try to hit that play because they're very successful with it. And either Drake's gonna be like, hey, I know they're gonna be, he'll be able to read it. And if the Seahawks aren't getting pressure, like, I don't think they're going to get pressure like a lot of these teams have. I don't even think Denver really got too much pressure. I think they handled it pretty well. I just think, like I said, that there were a lot of coverage sacks. So going into this game, are they going to be able to hold up? Which I think the Patriots O-line is going to hold up. I'm not even really worried about it. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't know if that's good to say. Not that I'm not worried about it, but I'm confident in their play. I'm confident in their ascension of their play. And I think these guys are going to show up in the biggest moment. And I think Morgan Moses is very good. And I think Onwenu at right guard is very good. And I think Bradbury's been playing very good. And I think that gives a lot of confidence to Drake. And I think they'll be able to step up, and wherever Witherspoon is, go away from him, kind of the same type of thing. But I don't think he's, anyway, let's stay within the, I keep doing that. I need to stop doing that. I need to just stay within the offensive line. Mumford is going to be a huge player. Mumford, sneak peek to my X Factor, Mumford's going to be my guy. He will. I think he's going to play a decent amount in this game, especially if Josh sees that they stay in that too high look. If they stay in that too high look, Ramondre might go for 140 yards. I know their D-line's very good against the run, and I know they're very stout and they can play very well, but I don't think that they'll be as effective against an extra O-line personnel. Even sometimes they even go with Westover in the backfield. And, Tonga might get in there. Tonga was playing early, and he's getting a little healthier and had an extra week. So Tonga might even be that fullback. And he was effective. And he went in there and just wreaked havoc. And that might be the play that they might go to. And then play action out of that with Mac Hollins, who is going to be back. He was back last week. He'll be back even more, especially with this too high look. Look out for Mac Hollins. Big day for him. I think he is very elite at the deep middle routes, at those deep ends. He has a huge catch radius, and I think that Drake will be able to try to get that high ball to him, and he'll make the catch because he always does. And I think that will be That'll be a huge play. They'll probably hit that maybe twice, maybe more. That's going to be a huge play for them. I'm not worried about the offense. I'm not. Just seeing how the Rams looked against them, seeing how and I know Patriots run a different type of offense than the Rams, but I think it's going to be a totally different game. I don't think it's going to be super high scoring, but I think the offensive line is going to, I think it's going to shock a lot of people. And I do not think that the defensive line is going to be as effective against the Patriots run game. I don't. I think the Patriots run game is going to turn it up. I think they're going to run the ball effectively. I think they haven't played in a 70-degree weather in months, feels like. They're going to be ready. Drake's going to be throwing the heck out of the football. Don't even mention, wish I should have opened up with this. Game's on NBC. It's on Peacock. Drake May is a NBC Peacock beast. When it's on NBC, when it's on Peacock, Drake May shows up. He's the MVP. Drake May is the MVP. And this O-line for the Patriots is going to show the whole world that, after this game, the O-line, the Seahawks D-line is going to be, they're going to say the D-line stinks. Because they're not going to get as much pressure. They're not going to be getting after it. And I think Josh McDaniels, in his 9th or 10th Super Bowl in his career, is going to be ready to go. He's going to have a game plan. He's going to attack. The Seahawks defense is not the Legion of Boom, whatever. They're great defense. They are fantastic at what they do. They're great. But I'm just going to end it on this. I'm going to end it on this. I got my phone because I'm going to talk about one thing. We got opposing quarterbacks faced. Okay? So the Seahawks, of course, they played Stafford 3 times. Beat him twice, lost to him once. Good quarterback. But Patriots played Josh Allen, who's also very good. But then, other than that, you got Brock Purdy, who, let's be honest, whatever. Rodgers, Spencer Rattler, both teams played both of those guys. Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, who's good. C.J. Stroud, who's, I guess, like the worst quarterback of all time now, which I don't believe, whatever. Jaden Daniels when he was hurt. Jacoby Brissett, Cam Ward, Max Brosmer, Kirk Cousins, Phillip Rivers, and Bryce Young. And a lot of those quarterbacks the Patriots also played, but they are discrediting the Patriots for not playing any quarterbacks. Although the Seahawks, let's just be honest, they kind of haven't played that many. They played some good guys, but Patriots played Josh Allen, and I think Justin Herbert's a pretty good quarterback. I think they just put him in distress, and he won 11 games this year and played well. Phillip Rivers almost beat Seahawks, so we'll have a good game. Look, I'm not giving my prediction yet. I just think this, everybody's been saying, oh, the trenches are going to win the game. Of course they are. They do every game. That's the game. The game's the trenches. But I don't think that it's the entire game. And I think Jackson Smith-Njigba and Christian Gonzalez are going to be, they're going to be going at it. And Carlton Davis, another Super Bowl for him. He kind of knows how the game's played a little bit. I think he was in COVID time, but still, he knows about the game. He's been in the big game. So, it'll be interesting. I think Will Campbell gets a lot of flack for absolutely nothing. He was great last game, and nobody said a word. They just keep saying about his other 2 games that he did bad. I don't think it's going to be the same. I mean, the D-line, like I've said before, the edges are not. I feel like the edges are a little bit over. I feel like they can change the game, but they're not everything. I feel like the middle line of scrimmage where you can get that push, what the Patriots got, what the Eagles had last year, which the Bucks had a couple years ago, that the Chiefs have had. The interior pressure is vital to a championship team, and I think that's what the Patriots are kind of relaying, is they have that front pressure, that middle pressure, and the edges are important, but it's the middle of the middle of the field that is the most important guys. And I think that's kind of like Parcells, Belichick mindset. Middle of the field is the most important area of the field, and I think for the line of scrimmage, I think it's going to be won and lost by the run game on both teams, and I think the Patriots are going to stifle. They're going to shock. They're going to shed. They're going to get pressure. They're going to push. And I think the Patriots are going to shock a lot of people. Sam Darnold threw a lot of interceptions this year, 14, I think. Drake had 8, a couple bad ones, a couple bad fumbles, and I think he'll clean it up. And I think both will be a little. I think both will be a little nervous in the beginning, both quarterbacks, but we'll get to those guys later on in the week. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Lead up, probably go receivers and quarterback the last day. Probably go running backs, linebackers. I should have kind of put that all together in this one. I guess I can. I'll save it. Maybe I'll do all that. I'll do all those guys next video. And then I'll kind of talk about the overall game again, which I know a lot of people, but a lot of people are doing in, these media stuff. But I'm not really media. I'm just kind of talking about the game. So I'm not a media analyst on the stage pretending I'm knowing all, which, I watch a lot of football. Probably, like, if you're watching this video till now, 37 minutes in, you do too, probably. So a lot of people can. I want to talk to people in the comments, talk to people going on. So see what's going on and see what other people think. See if they kind of agree with me. See yeah. But that's what I think. I think the Patriots are going to dominate in the middle of the field. I do not think that Gray Zabel and whatever the Anthony Bradford are going to be able to withstand these guys. I think it's going to be anarchy up the middle, and I think Sam Darnold will be seeing some stuff that he won't be seeing. And that was not even, I just realized that wasn't even like the seeing ghost thing. I think that's so, I also, okay, we need to not do that. This is like a totally different team. This is not even a Bill Belichick. This is the seeing ghosts thing. That was a long time ago. Sam Darnold, you're not going to see ghosts. You're just going to see extra players where they're not supposed to be. But yeah, no, I think the sim pressures are going to be very good. I think the game plan for Josh on the offensive side is going to help big time. I think he's going to 2 weeks for Josh McDaniels for the Super Bowl. I mean, there's no other play caller I'd want in this situation than Josh McDaniels. He's the one guy I want. And on the defensive side, Terrell's coming back, the defensive coordinator that had the cancer before, cancer-free. He beat it. Let's go, baby. Let's go. He'll be back. He traveled with the team. Zach Core is going to just dial it up, baby. He's going to be the guy. And, Rabes is gonna get him going. And I think, yeah, we're gonna see some good Mullen football. It's gonna be fun to watch, and I'm excited. But That's it for the interior line. I just wanted to come on here and talk 40 minutes. This is like 20 minutes longer than I was kind of expecting. But yeah, look, cool. Thank you for watching. If you want, like, subscribe. That'd be cool. Check it out. Check out my other videos. See what's going on. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm just going to be talking about Patriots for the rest of the week. Little end note, I like all of Boston sports, so I'm going to kind of shift. I kind of talk about all of them right now. It's just Super Bowl. John Henry, Craig Breslow, unbelievable. You're idiots. We'll get to that another time. It's already way too long. And yeah, so hey, we'll see you next time. Peace.